I'm not even necessarily worried about skill set so much when we hire someone. I mean, it is important for certain roles, but it's more, can we coach this person up, or are they going to be an invested member of the team, and are we all going to work well together? So I think that's very important.
Welcome back to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the owner of SMC National, where we help offices just like yours level the playing field against the big guys out there so you can grow the way that you want. And today I have a very, very special guest, Dr. Ian, who's one of our clients and has multiple locations, and he's going to talk about how he doubled his new patients over the last couple months, how he got his team to answer the phone properly, and also how he's tried a bunch of different marketing approaches and things that didn't work, as well as things that did. And this is going to really, really help you if you're thinking about growing your office. This is an episode you can hear straight from the horse's mouth how they did it and how they executed. Amazing job by Dr. Ian. You're going to love this episode. Stay tuned. All right, we are live. And today I got Dr. Ian on with me today. And he is a special guest today because he's a client that recently got started with us and had an amazing new patient month. And I started digging into the data, looking at the ROI, looking at what his team did. And I was like, man, I got to get him on a podcast to talk about this because you've unlocked the code to getting your marketing to work quickly. Now, right before we hit record, you told me, hey, I've done some marketing in the past and on paper it looked good, but it didn't result in necessarily new patients. And that's the problem that so many dentists run into, is that marketing data like SERP rates and click-through rates and impressions and bounce rates and all these things can be perfect and you still don't grow. And it's because dental's so much different than so many other industries, and it's not intuitive, right? It's not intuitive like selling a pair of sneakers or something on an Amazon shop. And so a lot of marketers struggle with it. And so I want to first start with, you were able to have an amazing first month with new patients right out of the gate. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's actually, I can't take a whole bunch of credit for it. We have a pretty amazing team over there. I mean, obviously, I'm not taking new patient phone calls and things like that. So our office manager, we're a small operation. We have two doctors in there, but we're both part-time, half and half. So our office manager, Jamie, kind of hit it out of the park on the first month, which we were fully live. We had half a month in February. We had a full month in March with marketing. And I think she ended up at 100% or something like that, and scheduled new patients, which is pretty impressive. So she's awesome on the phones. And then we had a higher volume this month in April, which is our second month as we're kind of dialing things in, and more phone calls, more leads, and she still put it at 80%. So I think that she's just super skilled at knowing, what to say, what not to say, and how to make it a unique phone call for the patient as well, to where it's not reading off a script. You're still a person on the end of the phone, but able to get the patient to kind of feel that and schedule, whether they're in network, out of network, whatever. So I can't take a whole bunch of credit there other than maybe hiring her. Other than that, she's been great. We've got one of our assistants is dual trained as well. She's very good. Jess is up front. So all credit goes to the team on that one. Other than just monitoring what they're doing, it's really, really up to them. They're doing great.
Yeah, you guys, in March, you doubled what your new patients were the year before. So you went from 21 new patients to 43 new patients in March 2025, which is amazing. And the first thing I noticed was your phone conversion. You are double the industry average. So industry average for marketing new patients is 50%. I just got off a call with a big DSO client with 50 locations, something like that. And their average phone conversion is in the 30s. And we're like, okay, what can we do better with marketing? And it's like, just convert on the phone and all your marketing works wonderfully, even better than it's working now. And for you guys knocked it out of the park month one. And because of that, you had a really high ROI from your marketing investment. And most dentists, that doesn't happen. So what happens most of the time is we bring somebody in and then it's like, okay, you have all these opportunities, but you're losing most of them for little things. It's not like complicated things. It's just simple, how we speak to people, how we greet people, how to answer questions around pricing and different things like that. And your team was able to knock it out of the park. Now, did they come to you with those skills, or did they learn those skills and then you held them accountable to those skills? Like how did that come about?
So a little bit of both. We were blessed in a way where I know SMC has some resources available for phone conversion training and things like that. Jamie, our office manager, has been in an office that has transitioned out of PPO contracts into a more fee-for-service patient base. So she had some experience with kind of how to handle those conversations. We're in just at the beginning of that too. We're in network with 7 PPOs. We acquired the practice in December of 2023. We're now starting to peel off the poorer ones. So she's got experience doing all that. I didn't really have to do anything there. And because she has that experience, she's able to help some of the other people taking phone calls kind of tailor those phone calls. So I have had some staff in one of our other offices where maybe that skill set isn't quite there to where we're having to coach them up a little bit. So it's nice to have resources available for that. But we kind of lucked out where she was ready to go from day one.
It's awesome. And it sets the bar for the rest of your team. That's what I always tell people. You only need, doesn't matter how many offices you have, or even just one office with multiple people answering the phones. You only need one person to do it right to show everybody else what the bar is. So she set the bar really, really high. The other thing that I noticed in the data is that your patient referrals have really jumped. And again, this usually takes people, the phone thing takes people months to figure out. So we blow a lot of money on marketing because they're figuring out the phones, and we have to coach them up, and the doctor gets it, right? They're smart. They understand it, but then getting their team on board and engaged. And then the next cycle is, okay, now you're getting these marketing new patients, flip those into patient referrals. And now you get double growth. You have the marketing patients coming in, you have the patient referrals coming in. How did that come about? How'd you do it so fast is what I want to know. Like that's what I'm curious about.
So it actually is so interesting because a lot of things take so little effort. You just have to do them. Myself and my business partner, we own 2 offices together. Our office manager in our more rural office was really harping on, hey, let's get some in-office referrals going. So we did a couple things that you've seen before, which is number one, just asking patients to refer friends. Small business. We're trying to be active in the community, and we want to see more of our community members. And then we do little things like, a giveaway here or there. We do a raffle for new patients or referrals and things like that. And just by doing that, it has really helped quite a bit. The other side of it is patient experience. We try to kind of be maybe on the opposite end of your corporate dentistry feel, where we'll spend time getting to know the patient and just making a connection. And it doesn't take but a couple minutes a patient to do that, just to take an interest in them and really make sure they feel heard. And I think that goes a long way. It really does. So I think it's a kind of a two-prong approach there.
It really is. And a lot of times I post in all these Facebook groups with dentists, right? And they can be pretty negative at times. I posted yesterday, what's the biggest thing working against dental right now? And a lot of people said insurances. And a lot of people said DSOs, right? And I get it. And I get why they feel that way. But when you look at things the way that you're looking at them, Ian, it's just like, you could look at this problem and say, you know what could make us different? And it's how we treat people, how we treat our team, and how our team treats our patients. And if you treat people properly, guess what happens? Insurance doesn't become as big of an issue because you're treating them like a person who needs treatment, not as a number that, what's the reimbursement rate going to be? And people feel that. And then number 2, DSOs have a much harder time with that because there isn't ownership at the location. It's an employee at the location, and the owners are 4, 5, 6 people removed, and you can't control the experience in the same way. So I love that you brought that up. Is there anything that you did to help your team get on the same page with you with that, or did you just find the right people and they kind of got it?
It's a little bit of both. I think that there are certainly owners out there who like the idea of an associate-driven practice where they can go to the Caribbean and hang out for a week and maybe check their email a couple times and be good. And if I could be successful doing that, like, sure, great, sounds fun. I think part of the reason why we've had success is that we're trying to build a culture not only for our patients, but our staff too, right? So if we show that we care, then they'll care as well. So we have had We bought both offices around the same time in December of 23, and we have had some staff turnover because of maybe some differences in culture or what we wanted our workplace to be. And I think by just moving some pieces around like that, it really helped. So it's just not, I'm not even necessarily worried about skill set so much when we hire someone. I mean, it is important for certain roles, but it's more, can we coach this person up, or are they going to be an invested member of the team, and are we all going to work well together? So I think that's very important.
Yeah, that's good. What message would you give to people out there? Because there's a lot of dentists that are very negative about marketing, and rightfully so. Like, I get it. There's definitely people out there that are bad actors, just like there's bad dentists, right? In every industry, there's bad people who are just trying to take advantage of people. But then there's some people out there that are doing their very best that they can to help people, but they don't understand dental. Just based on your experience, could you kind of share with the audience, if there's just going to be dentists listening that are like, they've tried 100 different marketing companies, they've tried everything and nothing works with my marketing. What advice would you give to somebody like that?
So I think the biggest thing is, we talked beforehand about some metrics. Like, I ran Google ads and things like that without someone to manage it. I've ran them with someone to manage it. Obviously, we're a little bit biased because I'm using SMC for marketing in 2 different practices right now. But I think the thing that sets it apart is we're not so focused on all these random 3-letter acronyms. You know, it's so easy to get into the weeds looking at, okay, what's my cost per click, or how many impressions do I have, and yada, 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 yada. If that doesn't lead you to a patient who's going to schedule in your practice and move forward with treatment, then it's not necessarily valuable. And that's where things are set apart, right? So if you are, no matter who you're using for marketing, if you're not receiving we use the word leads in marketing quite a bit, but it has some validity to it. If you're not receiving the kind of leads that you want, it doesn't matter how many you're getting, right? And so that's where what you guys do is unique in that. For example, I'm looking at our trackable page right now, and if you're not using SMC, then you won't necessarily know what that means, but it's just something that allows you to track certain metrics throughout the marketing process. But we have 41 leads for the month of April, but only 36 of them are qualified, right? So who cares if I get 150 people calling for Medicaid if those aren't leads that I really care about, right? So that's where things are a little bit different. I think no matter who you're using, you want to use someone who understands the dental space and what that quality lead looks like and what qualifies that, right? And the second part is, and this was something that you guys do, is if you're not finding a way to measure how many of those people schedule, then it doesn't matter how many calls you get. Because if they're not scheduling on the phones, then you can get as many calls as you want, and you're still just letting your money on fire. So just being intentional. Yeah.
So, and it's being intentional in the right ways, but you may not understand that, right? Just like a patient, if I'm a patient, I go into a dental office and I'm going to get veneers, and they're just like, yeah, these are going to make your teeth way better. I might not understand that you're scraping off a bunch of teeth with good, healthy teeth to make it look a little bit better, right? There's some nuance to that, and patients don't understand that unless you explain it to them. In dental marketing, I've actually posted about this significantly, and dentists get pretty upset when they say they're not leads, they're people, they're patients. And I go, no. They're patients when they walk through your door. Before they get to your door, they're leads or opportunities, we can call them, as maybe a friendlier word, but they're not all created equal. The other thing that I find so fascinating is in the marketing world, a lead is actually just somebody who clicks on like your call button. And it might have been your mom calling to see what you wanted for lunch. It might be a sales rep from, one of the suppliers, and they're just clicking on your ads and clicking on your phone number. And that counts as a lead. So I hear a lot of people say, my cost per lead is $20. And it's like, okay, how do you define lead? Like that's a whole nother conversation. And I know for a fact, dentists don't want to wade through those. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear, I got 5 billion leads and 75% or 80% of them were just nothing. So it's just, when we created Trackable, it was like, okay, what does a dentist actually care about? And what do we need them to care about? And qualified lead and then appointment schedule rate is so crucial. And you've knocked both of those out of the park. And then you figured out on top of that, how to get the patients in, get them to buy treatment. And so overall, amazing job. Any last words before we part ways?
I would just say, I think a lot of dentists, like myself, so there's a big push in the market right now. It's like, oh, you have to sell dentistry. I don't necessarily agree with that. People come in the door and I treat them like family and I tell them what they need and they can feel the intention behind it. We're trying to help them out. And so when we talk about leads and things like that, we break it down into cost per impressions, things like that. I think a lot of dentists feel like it dehumanizes the process just a little bit. It's not about trying to break it down into numbers or encroach on your patient care. It's more about just driving the business. You want opportunities to make those relationships in the office. And the other thing is, I think the big part of it is people want people in the door, but they don't want to feel like, especially some people who have had previous training on call conversions, they don't want to feel like they're being watched and being told that they don't know what they're doing. The way that I would explain it is we're just trying to find ways to help communicate to patients. It's not about trying to make someone feel bad about how they're talking on the phone. And I think presenting it that way to your staff, especially staff who have been in the game for a long time, is going to help. Otherwise, they may feel like you're trying to watchdog their job or tell them that they're doing something wrong. So it's just approaching things with an abundance mindset instead of, scrutiny, I think can really help.
Yep, 100%. That's great stuff. Thank you so much for coming on, Ian, sharing your journey. You don't have anything to gain from this besides helping other people. So I appreciate you coming on, just being honest, sharing your struggles, sharing the good stuff with the bad stuff, because business in general is hard. Dentistry is super hard, and you're doing a great job with it and with your team as well. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you having me.